Welcome, everyone. It is 12 o'clock, so we're going to go right ahead and get started on the dot. Thank you all for joining us for our first of three webinars for the one-day Critical Needs Alert hosted by the Pittsburgh Foundation and the Community Foundation of Westmoreland County. I'm Katie Balonis. I'm the Philanthropic Partnerships Associate at Pittsburgh Foundation. I run this online day of giving for the foundation, so a lot of you have probably received many emails from me and will continue to. And just a few notes for housekeeping. Closed captioning is available. You'll want to toggle it on at the bottom of your screen. And we will be recording this webinar and posting it both to the Pittsburgh Gives site, and I'll be sending it out in email communications. With that, I'm going to hand everything over to my colleague, Claire Prococo from Mighty Cause. Mighty Cause is our new partner this year for the Critical Needs Alert, and they help us with the Pittsburgh Give site to make sure that you are all as successful as possible in raising as many dollars to support your organization. So Claire is going to walk us through the new sort of look and feel on the site, how to get registered, how to update your organizational page, as well as a bunch of other information that should be helpful to you all in getting set up and being successful. So Claire, I'm going to let you take it away.
Thank you so much, Katie. I am so happy to be here, everybody. It's been an absolute joy getting to work with the Pittsburgh Foundation as we prep for the one-day Critical Needs Alert. As Katie mentioned, my name is Claire Prococo, and I'm the project manager with Mighty Cause, who is supporting the transition over to our new platform. Today, I'm going to be leading you through a session which is all about getting started on our platform. And getting started means figuring out how to log in, create an admin account, accessing your organization's page, registering, and getting your organization's page ready to go live for your giving event. As Katie mentioned, there are going to be a few more webinars, one of which I will be leading as well, where we're going to focus more deeply on the fundraising tools of the platform. But for today's purposes, we're just going to be talking about getting yourself started, getting acclimated to the platform. My goal is that you walk away from today's session feeling empowered and informed about how to use the platform, and learning all about the capabilities as it pertains to you as organization administrators. Again, this session is recorded, so if you have any questions, you will be able to refer back to our video training. And if any other questions come up during our time together, please drop them in the Q&A. That'll be monitored throughout the session. We may answer some questions in the moment, and anything we don't answer throughout the session, we will make sure we cover at the end. I don't want anyone to walk away with questions unanswered. So please, no question is too big or too small. I'm happy to answer as much as I can, so that you feel really good joining Mighty Cause and getting ready for One Day Critical Needs Alert. All right. So as you know, we've got Katie here from the Pittsburgh Foundation. It's me, Claire Prococo from the Mighty Cause team. And let's take a look at our agenda for today. We're going to go over some Giving Day basics, just to remind you of some important dates for Critical Needs Alert. We will chat through the registration process, including how to submit your registration form and how to complete your to-do list. We will do a full platform demo and walkthrough. So anything I talk through over the slides, I will also show you in real time during our demo. We'll talk through your organization's page as well, and then again, wrap up with any Q&A at the end. For the purpose of today's webinar, I am going to go ahead and turn my camera off until we launch into the live demo. So go ahead and get yourselves comfortable, and we're going to jump into things. All right. So let's jump into the basics first. I'm sure there are many of you, if not all of you, who have participated in Critical Needs Alert before and are familiar with what a Giving Day is. But in case this is a new idea for you, a Giving Day is a fundraising marathon that aims to bring people together to support a specific community, cause, or space. And the Giving Day hosts, in this case, the Pittsburgh Foundation, organize the event and help to rally organizations to raise funds for their causes. That's you all. Participating nonprofits utilize the resources provided by the host and the platform to reach out to their supporters, solicit donations, secure peer-to-peer fundraisers, and ultimately just do good in the community. This event is presented by the Pittsburgh Foundation in partnership with the Community Foundation of Westmoreland County. And since 2013, the foundations have raised over $17 million, including incentive funds for your organizations. Participating in Critical Needs Alert is free for all nonprofits. You do need to be providing direct services in one of the 5 areas that strengthen the safety net of essential human services. So if you're here, you are likely providing services in the areas of childcare, food and nutrition, employment, eviction prevention and housing, as well as physical and mental health care. Some important dates to keep on your mind. Registration has already launched on the Pittsburgh website, and it's going to remain open through July 17th. So if you have not yet registered, we encourage you to do so as soon as possible. That way you feel like you have plenty of time to get acclimated to our new platform. Early giving will begin shortly thereafter on July 30th, and the giving event will be on August 4th. Now, we know joining a new platform, a new space can feel intimidating or worrisome at first, but our goal is that by the end of today's webinar, you're feeling really good about the new platform and the way that you can navigate it as your organization's admin. To be eligible for Critical Needs Alert, you need to be designated by the IRS as a 501c3 public charity or have a fiscal sponsor, located within Allegheny County, or provide 75% or more services in Allegheny or Westmoreland counties, and provide direct services in at least one of the 5 basic needs focus areas that I just mentioned. If you meet those criteria, then you are all set to get started on registration. Something to keep in mind on the Mighty Cause platform is that registration likely looks a little bit different than what you're already used to. On the Mighty Cause platform, registration is broken up into 2 essential parts. Part 1 is submitting your registration form, and Part 2 is completing a predetermined to-do list, which ensures your organization's page is ready to go live, be greeted by visitors and donors, and to raise funds. In order to be approved for participation, we're encouraging you to complete those to-do list items as soon as possible so that the Pittsburgh Foundation team can approve your organization. All right, a couple of things to keep in mind as you begin the registration process. First, you need to log in to our platform. And there are 2 ways to do that, and it's going to depend on whether or not you've already been an admin for your organization as far as Critical Needs Alert goes. And if you are a new admin to your organization, then your login process is going to look a little bit different. So if you are a returning user or a returning admin for your organization, when you go to the Pittsburgh Gives website, you are going to find the login button on the top right-hand corner. You are going to enter your email address that you've often used for Critical Needs Alert. And when you log in, you're actually going to select Forgot Password. You are going to select Forgot Password because you technically already have a user account migrated into the Mighty Cause platform. We don't want you to create a new account. We just need you to reset some login credentials to be able to access what you've already accessed previously. However, if you are a new user or a new admin for your organization, you will actually enter in your email address on the first line. And then on the second line, you are going to go ahead and just enter in a password that you will use for the giving season. You're going to log in this way because you do not yet have a user account associated with Critical Needs Alert, and you're essentially signing up for the platform versus logging into the platform. Once you are logged in, you can visit pittsburghgives.org and click the Register Today button on the home screen. Once you are logged in and once you've selected the Register Today button, you will be prompted to complete the Critical Needs Alert 2026 registration form. And again, registration is already opened. To complete the registration form, you will need to select your nonprofit organization from the search bar embedded within the form. The Mighty Cause platform regularly uploads nonprofit organizations from the IRS master list into the system, and this happens about once monthly. If you are logged in as a returning admin, you are already associated with an organization on the Critical Needs Alert platform. And what you should experience is actually the list of your organization already populated on the registration form with a radio button for you just to simply click and go ahead and submit the form for your organization. But if you're new or if you don't yet see your organization listed on the form, you'll use the search bar here. You can look for your organization by the name or by the EIN. On the Mighty Cause platform, best practice is probably going to be using the EIN just because it's a more specific search function. So, play around with both. A drop-down menu will show up and you can select your organization from there. Now, if you do not see your organization populating after you enter your EIN or your org name, or perhaps you're a newly fiscally sponsored organization, you're actually going to select the Create It Now button. What this is going to do is open up a new window where you're going to submit some information that will be routed to our customer support team. And from there, our customer support team will go into the IRS master business file. They will look for your organization. They will do some verification to ensure that you are, in fact, associated with this organization you say you are. They'll guide you through the whole process, and they'll be the ones to create your organization's page if you are newly participating and don't have your organization yet listed on the Mighty Cause platform. So, a couple of different ways to access your org page. And once you have found it or created your new org page, you will go ahead and proceed with the registration form. You have the option to complete the registration form all at once and submit it then and there, or perhaps you still need to collect some information and need to revisit your registration form. You will have the option to select Save and Complete Later. If you save it to complete later, just don't forget to complete it. Otherwise, you will likely hear from the Pittsburgh Foundation encouraging you to sign back in and complete that registration paperwork. But that's part one on the Mighty Cause platform for registration. Logging in, getting associated with your organization, and completing that registration form. Once you are registered or have submitted your registration form, you're going to be kind of in Mighty Cause Critical Needs Alert limbo. In order to get yourselves fully approved, you do need to complete or begin working through your to-do list as part two of the registration process. So part one is submitting documentation, and part two is getting your organization's page set up. So that's one way you might experience registration differently, is that creating your organization's page, customizing it, that's a separate process from the actual submission of the registration form. You will see what the to-do list looks like during our demo. And if at any time you need support or assistance with some of the to-do list items, please reach out to our customer support team. We are here to help you. All right, so let's take a look at what the to-do list looks like. Once you're logged in to your organization's page, you will see the sticky note and to-do list icon on the top left of your screen. That red dot here indicates there's something missing on your to-do list. And this is just going to provide you with a high-level look at the items to be completed to ensure your page is ready to go live. And once you begin completing your to-do list items, you will notice the blue check mark begin to populate next to each item as it's completed. From there, the Pittsburgh Foundation will review your registration form and approve you as they go. Once you're approved and you've completed the to-do list and part two of registration, you will receive an email notification confirming your approval. And from there, you just get yourselves ready for the big day. If you're looking for some more detailed information about each to-do list item task, you can select the Opened Detailed To-Do List button here, and that's going to expand the to-do list to be a little bit more detailed for you. And that's going to look like this. So now you can see the to-do list has been expanded, and completing the organization page actually has two tasks to it. Pittsburgh Gibbs has determined that you'll need to have your logo set up and your about section completed, and that you will also need to set up your EFT so that you can receive those disbursements from the Mighty Cause team. And then it's recommended that you also include some sort of banner image as well to just continue to enhance your branding and your presence on your organization's page. If you're not sure where to find any of these to-do list items in the platform, perhaps you're a little bit confused about where you do your EFT setup. If you actually click on EFT setup, it's linked to bring you exactly to that part of the platform. And again, I'll show you what that looks like during our demo. All right. Once you have done registration, you're going to have quite a bit of time to explore your dashboard, which is essentially your menu of features and tools that you will use to manage your organization's page for the giving event, for the giving season, and for any other fundraising efforts you're going to be doing throughout the year. Let's take a look at your dashboard. On your organization page on the left-hand side, you're going to see your menu here. This arrow on the top corner will allow you to minimize or expand this menu depending on what you prefer visually. And then you're going to see each of these menu items that you can filter through. So the overview, this is where you're going to see your registration status. You can see whether or not donations are open yet, your to-do list items, any announcements from the hosts themselves. If you toggle to the next option, it's going to bring you directly to your organization page where you can go ahead and edit your essentially mini website. We'll talk through contacts, fundraising tools, and reports and checkout all during our next webinar where we'll focus on those fundraising tools. And we'll spend a little bit of time today talking about settings as well, where you can handle admin access and adjust your organization's settings. Once you're in the platform, I really do encourage you to begin poking around and exploring what these different features look like. Begin to familiarize yourself with what is available. Um, I'm sure Katie can attest to this, but nothing on the platform is permanent. So if you create something and you created it in error or it's no longer applicable to your organization, it can be deleted. And if you can't delete it, we can delete it for you. So don't be afraid to explore and to kind of get your hands in and play around with the different features. This is what your overview screen will look like if you have not logged in or submitted registration. You are likely not familiar with this screen, but some of you may be. So again, to-do list item top left, red dot indicates outstanding items. A couple of banners here to provide insight on your status. Right now, Critical Needs Alert is not accepting donations. This page in particular is still working through its setup and needs to complete some to-do list items. And you'll notice the banner is indicating the registration is still pending. These banners will change as your status changes as well. The dashboard menu is on the left-hand side. And in the middle of your screen here, these are just some high-level metric tiles that will refresh in real time during the giving event. And you can toggle through different filters as well to kind of get some metrics on your organization, what kind of impact you're having, how much you're raising, and who's looking at your page. Probably the most important step for you all now is to get your organization's page set up and ready to go live. Once you toggle down to the organization part of your dashboard, you will have access to our full suite of editing tools. And your organization's page really is like a miniature website for yourselves. So you have a lot of autonomy in terms of making that look and feel how you'd like it to based on your mission for Critical Needs Alert. So once you toggle over to your organization page, this is going to be the main link you share with your supporters. So make sure you're using the pittsburghgives.org version of your organization link when you're sharing this out to your supporters. You can make any edits or update your banner, your logo, all sorts of different things can be customized here. On the top of your org page, you're going to see a toggle to turn edit mode on. And when edit mode is on, you're going to notice these gray icons, which indicate to you where customizations can be made. So this paint palette one on the top right will allow you to kind of select some branded colors. This pencil icon allows you to update any text field. The megaphone option allows you to decide if you want your fundraise button on for peer-to-peer fundraisers. And you can also update your metrics here. You can customize the look and feel of your organization's profile. And this is where you really want to tell a powerful story about why donors should give to your organization. This pencil icon will allow you to update your logo image as well. And this is where you'll also update your banner image and set that theme color for your page. So anywhere you see those gray icons, even like a gray text bubble here, this is where you can again add elements to your page, omit elements from your page, update all sorts of different things. All right, your about section here. Some of you maybe migrated into the platform with some former information in your about section based on what you've had on your previous site. You could keep that, you can update it. And by the way, you can update your page pretty much at any point. So just be cognizant of that. In the about section of your page is where you get a chance to explain what your organization's mission really is. This is an opportunity to think about, what you want to share and what you want to convey to donors during this year's giving event. In order to complete the to-do list item associated with the About section, you do need at least 50 words on this within this text box. So just a heads up about that. To edit the text, all you have to do is click into the section you'd like to edit and start typing. Please always make sure you select Save as you go. So you'll have your General About tab here. And then one cool item on the platform is that you can also add a custom tab in the event that you want to add something a little bit, nuanced to your About section. Perhaps you want to include testimonials from former donors. Maybe you want testimonials from those that are impacted directly by the funds you're raising. Maybe you want to do an outline of your staff. So really the possibilities are endless in terms of what other information you'd like to include here. You can add media to this section, videos, images, links, a call to action button. You have pretty much all of the standard text editing tools that you're used to through like Google Suites, Google Drive, Google Docs. So you should be pretty familiar with, what these different icons are going to allow you to do within that section. Um, yeah, so, go crazy on the About section. More the merrier. On your org page, you can also have a media section where you can upload different pictures or videos that continue to tell that story about your organization. You can also optimize your social share settings on your org page. At the top of your org page, you do have those giving event metrics, which are highly customizable for you. So you can turn on that progress bar. You can set a goal so that that progress bar continues to move during the giving event. You can update the metrics you want displayed publicly. So you can show total dollars raised. You can show how many donors have given to your cause. You can opt to include offline donations in your metrics, and we will automatically set your metrics to begin on July 30th, 2026 at 8 a.m. for early giving. And something else you can turn on with your organization page is a giving activity feed. And that will show who has donated, how much they've donated, and it will populate in real time. Now, if your donor has opted to hide their name, then it'll just say anonymous. And if they've opted to hide their dollar amount, again, that won't show. But some organizations like to highlight those that are giving to their causes. Once you feel like your org page is in a good place, you can also begin to explore the various settings on your dashboard as well. So you will have some general settings where you can configure your organization's presence for sharing on the Mighty Cause platform. This is where you can update the individual URL and also update your social media sharing. Org info, that's going to be where you update, quite a bit of your legal information. So if you have a new legal address or a new legal name, you can upload documents here for our team to review and verify. Disbursement settings, that's where you're going to set up your EFT information. And then admins is where you're going to manage all of the individuals who have access to your organization's page. Oops. Because the EFT setup is part of your to-do list, I do just kind of want to look at this page at a more zoomed in level. So you'll be able to do direct payouts with your EFT by linking either your checking or your savings account for your organization, or if you wanted to do disbursement by check, you can include that information here. And this is where you can also review your disbursement report at the end of the giving event, so that you can continue to keep track of everything all in one place. So that was a little bit of a speedy run through all of the things in terms of getting started. I am going to shift gears into the platform demo. But before I do so, Katie, are there any questions I can answer at this point?
Yes, have a couple.
Okay.
We have a new director, and they're asking if it's okay that they signed in with the previous director login and changed the information in the admin settings.
Totally fine. Yep, this is your org page, so whatever you're comfortable with in terms of how you're accessing that page, all good.
And we have another question about requirements to receive funds through EFT. They're currently set up to receive it via checks. I can say from the Pittsburgh Foundation's perspectives, we would definitely encourage EFT setup as that's going to get funds to folks faster. But I'm happy to hear, Claire, if you have any recommendations. I know we do have the ability for disbursements to go out via check, correct?
Yes, that's correct. That's a host level preference. The platform is all encompassing, so we would love you to utilize the EFT setup, and allow us to disperse those funds to you on a timely basis. So, I'm going to advocate for you to have it set up in the platform. But again, Katie, if there's something else you want to have arranged with your orgs, that really is up to you.
So I would say it's strongly encouraged, but not required.
What else?
All right. Question, will non-admin peer-to-peer fundraisers from last year who still have a profile need to reset their password in a similar way?
Let me see if I can read through that one to help my thinking. Will non-admin peer-to-peer fundraisers from last year who still have a profile need to reset password in a similar way? Non-admin peer-to-peer fundraisers. I'm not quite sure I'm understanding the question. So if you have a supporter who has set up a peer-to-peer fundraiser on behalf of your org, um, as a donor or as a supporter, they're going to be using their same login information that they've used previously. So I hope that clarifies. It'll be the same process as you all. They'll enter their email address, and they can select forgot password, or they'll be prompted to enter the password they already have.
All right. One last question before we go on
Okay.
is there a due date to have our page updated by, or can you continue to update it once the page goes live? I'm happy to take this one, and that you do have the ability to continue to update your page once through, I should say, August 4th. We would strongly encourage and ask folks to finalize any updates to your organizational pages by July 29th. It's going to be the day before early giving starts. If only because once early giving starts, we want to try and keep the information as consistent as possible for donors as they're going in and making those early donations throughout the actual day of August 4th. So you would still have the ability on August 4th, like if something came up, to make that adjustment. We just ask you keep those to a minimum.
Great. Let's go ahead and jump into the live walkthrough and the demo. And then again, if questions come up, we can answer them in the moment or we can save them for the end. Alrighty, so right now, if you've not yet visited pittsburghgives.org, this is the new look and feel of the Critical Needs Alert website. Katie has done an absolutely fabulous job setting up this new page. I'm loving all of the things she's done to really bring the One Day Critical Needs Alert website to life. So hopefully you all enjoyed as well. We're going to start with the login process. So pittsburghgives.org, top right hand corner is log in. You will select that. Again, if you have already participated in Critical Needs Alert, you've already got an org page, you already know you're an admin, you're going to go ahead and type in your email address, whichever one you use. And I am going to select Forgot Password because I'm just going to reset my credentials. If I am a new admin, oops, I'm just going to go ahead and create that password right away because I don't have an account yet and I need to sign up to make sure I can access the platform. There is no email verification process, so you don't need to worry about having to go into your email inbox, click a link, click a code, do a four-digit, verification number. Once you enter that password, you should be locked and loaded and ready to just kind of go right on in. For the purposes of today, I'm going to sign in with my Mighty Cause account, and I'm in. Once you are signed in, you'll notice on the top right-hand corner that icon changes from saying logged in to your name. If I click that, you'll have a menu here. Please explore that, but we are talking about registration today. So we are going to select the Register Today button here, and you are going to go ahead and register your organization. There are some eligibility requirements on the left-hand side in case you have forgotten. A link to learn a little bit more about the One Day Critical Needs Alert giving event. Some registration FAQs at the bottom. These are expandable panels, so look through those. And also take a look at the nonprofit toolkit Katie has linked below. Here's your registration form. Again, you can use your org name or enter your EIN. Let's see here. Mighty Cause Charitable Foundation. Here's something you might run into if you enter your org name. There might be a couple of organizations, and actually probably many organizations with a similar name, if not the same, within the IRS master list. So again, we recommend that EIN number to be a little bit more targeted in your search. Once you select your org name, you can click select to continue with the registration form. And if you don't see your organization, you'll click create it now to prompt our customer support team to create that page for you. Once I click select, it's going to go ahead and open up the entire registration form. These are questions you should be familiar with if you've already participated. You've got some required questions, some text fields here, some drop-down items. So, go ahead and answer your questions. Again, you can save and finish it later, or you can just go ahead and submit it in one fell swoop. For the purposes of today, we're going to pretend that I have already done my registration form and I am an admin of the Pittsburgh Foundation Basic Needs Fund. So that's what you're looking at here. This is that overview page. This is just a high-level look at what your organization has been up to, has the option to engage in. Those general metric tiles here in the middle. You can toggle through different time periods to look at some historical data. You can use these arrows to move your tiles around if you want to organize them differently. And we also have some year-over-year data as well that you can look at. So go ahead and explore what's available for you there. Here are your banners. Donations are not open. To-do list is incomplete. Registration is pending. Dashboard menu on the left-hand side. This arrow expands and hides it. And then again, the to-do list menu at the top. If I select the to-do list menu, my sticky note has opened. I can see that I've completed my organization page in terms of what's those required fields. I still have to set up my EFT. And there's something else on my org page that I need to set up. Maybe I'm not quite sure what I still have left to do or how to get there. I will select Open Detailed View, and then it will bring up a more zoomed in version of that to-do list. So I've already got my logo, check. I've already done my about section, check. EFT setup, and a recommended item here is that banner image. Again, if I click directly on this item, it's going to bring me directly to where that is located in the platform. So hopefully we're doing as much of the work for you as we can. Back to the overview page. Let's see here. So go ahead and make sure you work through that to-do list when you get here. Then we have all of our dashboard items. We'll look at the org page in just a little bit. We'll talk through contacts, fundraising tools, reports, checkout during the next webinar. So make sure you're signed up for that. And today we'll look at our settings. Anytime you click it, it'll expand that menu even further. If you see items here in purple, you can ignore those. Those are just Mighty Cause level menu items. So don't be confused when you go to your page and you're not seeing, compliance info. You don't need to. All right, let's talk about your org page. Once I click the org page, it's actually bringing me directly to that public facing view. I can go ahead and collapse my menu just so I can have a little bit more real user experience here. This is going to be the URL you always want to share. Make sure it is the pittsburghgives.org version of your org page. Let's see here. Edit mode can be toggled on and off. Right now it's off. When I toggle it on, all of those editing icons will populate. And if I know specifically what I want to edit and I don't feel like looking around the entire page, I can go to our quick edit menu here and select which item I'd like to do. Let's say I want to add, a media gallery. It's going to bring me right to where media gallery lands at the top of the page. Edit mode is on. You can update your banner image here. You can also select a color overlay. So if you've got a specific branding color that you want to have displayed over your image, you can do that. Logo. Paint palette icon, again, allows you to set up your branded color. That's going to dictate, what color your donate button is and some of your metric values. Pencil, you can update the, display name, but it doesn't affect your legal name here. We are big fans of peer-to-peer fundraising, so we encourage you to leave your fundraise button available to your supporters, but some orgs don't want people to do peer-to-peer fundraisers for them, and that is up to you all. But you can select the megaphone button here, turn off your fundraise button, and just have the donate button on. This is where you can edit your metrics. So right now you can see dollars raised by how many donors. But if I don't want to show donors, I can turn that off. And if you want to keep your dollars raised a secret, you can also turn that off. Some other metrics for you to consider here. Plus sign to add your goal bar. You can modify your goal here. Let's say you want to raise $10,000. This bar will continue to show progress as those funds are raised, and you can continue to increase your goal throughout the giving day to build some momentum and energy around your cause. All right, here is your About section. Again, general editing selection tools here, always pressing save. Here's where you can add your custom tab, and you can edit your custom tab, rename it to staff, because your team is amazing and you want to show off all of the people who support your organization. And then you would click on that and you could just begin composing something new. Quick insert here if you want to add images, a button, you can edit your call to action button here. All sorts of different ways to make your About section as robust as you'd like it to be. I'm going to go ahead and remove that tab because no one asked me to put it there on this page. As we scroll down, you'll also see these gray blocks for where you can add additional elements to your page. Featured campaigns. So if you know you've got a great group of supporters who have created peer-to-peer fundraisers on your behalf, you can add the featured campaigns block. And you can start to search for any of those peer-to-peer fundraisers to highlight them on your org page. And you can hide that section again. Giving activity. There are obviously no donations yet, so you can't see any of the giving activity, but this is where it will live. And if I go to one of our demo pages, this is Black Cat Society, it's just for fun. You'll see here the giving activity will look like this. So anonymous, you can see if they've, donated on behalf of somebody, done a dedication, how much they've given, and then you can actually expand that giving activity as well. Supporting campaigns and media gallery as well. So feel free to explore those different items here to make sure your org page looks how you want it to look. I'm going to go back to our demo org here actually, just to kind of walk you through possibilities. So um, banner, logo, they've got their goal bar set here. They don't have anything in their custom tab, but they've included images, text, headers, call to action buttons. So their email list, more resources. They've even included a video in their about section as well. Giving activity and their media gallery is set up. This get involved section, we'll talk about this during the next webinar, but if you have any events that you're doing for your organization, in-person events, volunteering opportunities, you know, anything that's supporting you as you raise funds for Critical Needs Alert, that's going to automatically show here so that your supporters can see ways that they might want to be involved further. And then some just like summary data at the bottom. Again, anywhere you see that pencil icon, that's a way for you to customize what's displayed or what's shown. But that is your org page. So don't be shy, get in there and start making that look just how you'd like it to. Organizations that put effort into the way they're presenting their causes and their missions to the community often, yield greater results. So, take some time to be invested in how your organization comes across during the giving event. If you have questions about anything, our customer support team will help you. Sometimes we know getting the right size logo or the right size banner can be a little bit of a headache. Maybe it looks too pixelated or it's not fitting the block correctly. Let us know, we'll help you. No need to be frustrated about kind of some of those finer details. All right, back to our dashboard. Fundraising tools, so many exciting things for us to look through next time. Reports, a couple of different reports we'll look through next time. Your donation form we'll look through next time. And let's take a look at your settings here. So general settings. Depending on if your organization has participated before, your custom URL may be a series of random characters and numbers, and perhaps you'd prefer something a little bit more branded. So you can update your custom URL if it is not already being used on the Mighty Cause platform. So maybe you have an acronym or a shorthand version of your org name that can be listed here. We encourage you to leave your search engine visibility on so that Google can pick up your page if someone is just searching generally and maybe they land on Pittsburgh Gives because you've allowed your search engine visibility to stay on. Please keep your accept donation button on. If you have maybe a nickname for your organization that your supporters are used to, or maybe there's a former name that you used to go by that somebody may be searching for you by, you can include those items here so that our search filters will still associate those terms or those nicknames or those acronyms with your org page so that a donor can easily find you. Some share tags and then your social sharing as well. So we encourage you to include your logo and some titles and descriptions in the event that a supporter shares your organization page on their Facebook or on Instagram to broaden your reach for funds raised. Organization info here. This is really the legal stuff. So you've got your profile information here. This is what populates at the bottom of your organization page right here at the base. So you can edit this on the org page interface, or you can edit it through the settings section. You just kind of figure out the flow that works best for you. If you have a new legal name, we will require you to submit some new documentation for our team to review and verify. And same with legal mailing address. And then if there's any other documents that you would like to have housed in the platform, you may do so here. This is where you will find your disbursement settings. So your mailing address is going to be pulled directly from your legal mailing address. You will be able to see your full disbursement report here once those funds become available to you. Mighty Cause does disperse funds on a regular cycle. I believe there's information already on the Pittsburgh Gives site about that disbursement process. So if you're not yet familiar, make sure you look through those nonprofit resources to familiarize yourself with when you can expect those funds to be dispersed out to you. And then direct payouts as well with EFT if you're opting to not disperse by check. Admins, this is where you can add an admin to your organization page, or you'll notice here on our demo site, next to the banner is this manage this organization button. So if somebody clicks this, says they're associated with your organization, they'll fill out a little bit of information. You will see sort of a pending admin request here. So you can either add another team member this way, or they can request access this way. Lots of choices for you all. That brings me to the end of the actual platform walkthrough. So I'm going to pause there before I wrap up with a few more slides. Katie, any questions that are relevant to this piece of our webinar?
I have someone asking about more information about how text to give works. I'm going to guess that's going to be more so included on our next webinar, which will be in 2 weeks.
That's
So
correct. So hang
stay
tight. We'll talk about
tuned.
that next time. Yeah. What else?
I think that's everything. I'm going to be sending your way some folks who are having some technical difficulties with regards to updating their organization pages. So I think we're good for now.
Okay, great. Let's go ahead and just talk through support real quickly. It's a new platform. There will be a learning curve. Some things will feel really easy, some things will make sense right away. Some things are going to feel impossible, and we want to help you with the things that feel impossible. Um, our support team is East Coast based, so we are available to you during normal business hours, 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Um, and you can access us, I would recommend by email, support@mightycause.com. Just shoot us an email and we will respond to you. Um, there's also a question mark icon, which I should have shown you before I shared my screen to this, but on the bottom of the Pittsburgh Gives site, there's a little gray question mark. If you click that, a prompt will open for you to kind of submit your inquiry, and that will go directly to our support team as well. We have a lot of information available to you online. So support.mightycause.com is going to bring you to the nonprofit resource hub. So if you have questions, you can type in keywords into that hub and it will bring you articles and step-by-step guides on how to do whatever you're wondering about. So if you are not quite sure on setting up, text to give. We're not talking about that today, but you want to learn more about it, you could go to support@mightycause.com, type in text to give, and you will find an article that helps you navigate that tool or gives you some insight about it. And then you could also go to mightycause.com/guide as well. Lots of resources available. Use them, explore them, don't use them, reach out to our support team. Whatever process works for you will work for us. And we are here to support you.
I will just say, as a quick interjection to that point, I have linked the resource library on the nonprofit toolkit page of the Pittsburgh Gives website, as well as links to some specific guides as well. So if you are needing some guidance, I have it broken up by organization and fundraising. And both buttons will take you to the overall library to look at everything and click through as much as you'd like. So if you can't remember, you can always go to the nonprofit toolkit and those links will take you directly there.
Yep. I also noticed that there's the nonprofit FAQ and then also some additional details about the Mighty Cause disbursements. So, you know, we've tried to give you as much information up front so that you can answer your own questions and you can explore what you need to explore to feel informed about the new platform. I am ready to kind of pause the presentation, Katie, and just start answering some questions if there's anything else that remains.
Yeah, I'm happy to wait just a moment. If there are any final questions, feel free to throw them in the Q&A. We can answer them here. And I will just say, echoing Claire, please don't hesitate to reach out. The Mighty Cause team has been really helpful for us to get set up at the Pittsburgh Foundation with this site. But you can always also reach out to myself or anyone on our philanthropic resources team. We can connect you with Mighty Cause, or if we can answer the question ourselves, we'll absolutely do that for you. But we're here to support you. And I think Claire said at the beginning, there's no question too big or small. And so just don't always feel weird about asking. Okay, question. If I request a check, will it come from the Pittsburgh Foundation or from Mighty Cause? I can share that public donations and incentive funds will be coming from Mighty Cause. So the either EFT or check disbursement will show the Mighty Cause Charitable Foundation as the entity making that grant. If your organization receives a grant from a donor advised fund at the Pittsburgh Foundation, that will be sent separately. But all other public donations will be coming through Mighty Cause Charitable Foundation.
Great. While we wait for any last minute questions, leaving, now that registration's open and leaving the webinar today, you can really just jump into things. We encourage you to explore early. That way you don't feel up against the clock when early giving starts and you're feeling like your page isn't quite ready. We want to give you plenty of time to settle into your org page, to make sure you know where things are. Fortunately, we'll have another webinar to explore some of the additional tools. So hopefully over the next month or two, you start to feel really, really comfortable with what's available to you and how you can leverage the platform to just have a really successful giving event.
All right. If a donation comes from a DAF at the Pittsburgh Foundation, how we know it's associated with the giving day. So we will have language specifically within the attached grant documentation, either emailed or mailed with that DAF grant that will indicate that it is for the one-day critical needs alert. So it will be in there. I also would encourage everyone to, if you're using EFT, to go to your bank and make sure that the details are turned on, because we do put notes in those disbursements that would also indicate that it is for the 2026 one-day critical needs alert. And if you have questions about that, feel free to send me an email and I can provide some more context. All right. And what are dates for future webinars? Read my mind, Claire. We'll have two more. So Claire will be joining us again on May 28th to talk about strategy. So that'll include things like peer-to-peer, donation setup, everything like that. And then June 4th, I, along with, I believe, a colleague of mine here at the Pittsburgh Nation, will be talking about promoting your organization via social media, specifically for the one-day critical needs alert, but also just some general tips and tricks to promote your organization generally beyond August 4th to sort of help maximize those online networks. And all of our key dates, like I said, are listed as Claire is showing on this nonprofit toolkit. So this hopefully will be a one-stop shop for a lot of those questions. Do you have any information on who donated so we can acknowledge them? So if, as far as for this year, I can say that you will be able to pull up and see all donations that you should be able to pull out as a report to send acknowledgement. anyone who donates will receive a receipt sort of automatically once they make their donation. But as far as acknowledgement goes, you should be able to pull that list for yourselves in order to send folks thank you letters.
Yep. During our next webinar, we will talk about the donation report and what donor information you'll have access to so that you can follow up with your thank yous.
How many coworkers can they add as admins?
I don't think the limit exists. I would just be cognizant of how many people you want poking around your page. So that's really up to you all as the org to determine. I've seen organizations with up to 20 different admins. So no limit.
Looks like that might be everything.
Okay.
So I think that's us wrapped up with 5 minutes to spare. Thank you all again for joining us. As we said before, this will be recorded and uploaded to the Pittsburgh Give site and the Nonprofit Toolkit page, and we'll be sending out the link through email communications as well. And thank you, Claire, for joining us and for walking us through everything. Really appreciate your continued support with this. And with that, I hope everyone else has a great rest of your day. Thanks for coming.
Thanks so much.